Help support the companies that support our community. So I have a couple of cutoffs from other projects that I'm going to use for this one. The base is going to be out of maple and the lid is going to be out of walnut. I'm going to start with the base. I went ahead and put it in the chuck, and I'm going to use the #1 hauler to shape the outside of it. Once I got the outside shaped, I went ahead and hollowed out the inside with the same tool. So I cut this a little bit short. You can't quite see down in there, but I went ahead and hollowed it out with just this one tool and came around the side and cleaned it all up. After I got the inside cleaned out, I went ahead and came around and cleaned up the bottom a little bit. So I just brought that down a little bit more with the parting tool and cleaned it up with the #1 hauler. And then I'll go ahead and run through a couple of grits dry and then switch over to the walnut oil. I really need to hold on to the sandpaper a little better, pull that out of my hand. Luckily it was right underneath the lathe and I didn't have to hunt for it on the other side of the shop. So I sand with the walnut oil. This stuff works great. It gets rid of all that fine dust, and I ran all the way up to 600. When I was done with that, I went back to the parting tool and went ahead and parted it off. I'm going to go ahead and take out this waste piece and switch jaws real quick, and then use them in the expansion mode to finish the bottom of this. And again, I just used the #1 hauler to clean it up, ran through the grits on the sandpaper, a couple grits dry, and then right back to the walnut oil. Now that that's all done, we're going to work on the lid. So again, this is a piece of walnut. And so I'm making a button box. So that is what we're gonna make. We're gonna make that lid to look like a button. So this is gonna be the inside of the lid. Just sizing it here for the tenon that's gonna go into the base. And I'm gonna make a recess in the center of that that I can grab. That way I can grab it with the jaws and expand them again to finish off the top. Just going through making sure the fit on the tenon is good. Now I'll cup this out a little bit and use the parting tool again to make a little recess so that the jaws will grab that. After I have the bottom all refined, I go ahead and run through, again, sandpaper, a couple grits dry, and then switch over with the walnut oil. Once I ran up to 600 with the sandpaper, went ahead and came around and parted it off. So with this same process, I'll get rid of that waste piece and switch jaws here real quick. And use them in expansion mode again and clean up and shape the top of it. So I want the top to look like a button, so that's what I'm doing here, is just giving a little lip on the outside and then just a little bit of a dome in the center. So I sanded it up a little bit, used one grit with the walnut oil, and then went ahead and marked it for the holes before finishing off, because drilling the holes in it is going to leave a little bit of burrs where the drill bit goes in, so I didn't want to run through all the grits. So with this, I just put a circle around it, and then I used the indexing system on the lathe to space them out evenly. So this is walnut, and Robin is allergic to walnut, and so can't be in the shop when I'm turning it. When I'm all done, I have to vacuum everything up, take my clothes off in the laundry room, and go take a shower because it really bugs her. So I drilled the holes in this, and they're just too small. I took it in the house, and she said that doesn't look like a button. So I ended up coming back out, re-drilling the holes much larger. And so it looks a lot better now, and the holes are bigger. But with this, I just marked it out with the indexing system, grabbed the drill and drilled these little holes in it just to get them. And then when, like I said, after it was done, it didn't look right. So after I talked to her, came back out and I used the drill press and a much larger drill bit. I stepped it up a couple of times and re-drilled all these little holes. There we go. I went ahead and got the holes re-drilled. So I just stepped it up and went through a couple of different sizes until it looked more like a button than it did before. So yeah, it's as far as the walnut goes, it's about a year, maybe 2 years ago, Robin started getting a little, she noticed after we turned walnut that she couldn't breathe very well and it started getting really stuffed up. So we narrowed it down that's what it was. It was the walnut. So anytime we turn walnut, that's why the camera, it's moving around when I'm doing this part of the box and she's out here filming. But when we turn walnut, she leaves. I set up the camera on a tripod and then we just do still shots with it. But really like the way it came out. So we've seen these on Pinterest and different places before, but we have a couple of sewers in the family, so again, I'm getting an early jump on Christmas presents for next year. A couple weeks ago I did a bowl, so I have 2 more of these to do before Christmas next year. So hopefully I'll be able to get them done. So yeah, it's out of Maple and Walnut. It's just a fun little project, and if you do know a sewer, they would probably love something like this. All right, hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you next week. Take care.